Hey everybody, welcome to Brian Merrill's Tattooed in Business. I am Brian Merrill, your host, and again, welcome to Tattooed in Business. This is where we talk about life and business through the eyes of a Gen X male who happens to be covered in tattoos and been in the corporate sales world and sales in general for over 20 years. So this week, I wanted to talk about the pitfalls of networking, something that we don't talk about a whole lot, in all honesty, in our world. So networking, I have coined, is the new cold call. So with everything that has gone on with the pandemic and whatnot, we found that online Zoom meetings and networking through uh, those sources have become very powerful, and they're absolutely unbelievable. They work very well. Networking, if it's not a part of your business, it needs to be. But there are some pitfalls to it. So we can become very reliant on networking, and networking can be taken out of context. Um, so there are some things to really watch out for. So the number one thing you really want to watch out for, and these are in no order by any means, but for networking, a lot of times when we find our champion, we become very reliant on them. So we fail to do the steps that it takes to do basic sales 101 type stuff, like having a list of accounts that you're going after, prospects that you're looking to get into. You can if you there are two types of salespeople, right? There's your hunters, which are your true salespeople, and then you have your gatherers. And your gatherers can be they're more of an account manager, CSR role, customer service representative role, and what their jobs is to do is once they have the customer contact information, they have the sales already started, is to cultivate it, to work with the customer, make sure they're taken care of, look for new projects on it, and upsell, and grow the customer. A salesperson or the hunter's job is to go find that business and bring it back. So what I'm starting to see is there are people that are order takers, customer service reps, account managers, and they find somebody not in their industry who becomes a really good hunter and a champion for them. And they tend to sit back and let that person go find their business for them. And you know what? There's there's a it's a double-edged sword, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to watch is at some point as a business owner, sales manager, um, you're gonna wind up you're going to wind up saying to the account manager's customer service, you're going to start questioning whether you really need them or not. And the reason being is if you are developing your own list, your own network, and your own contacts, one of two things is going to happen, right? Either you're going to find that you're not needed and they'll just offer the other person who's given you all these things a 1099 position, or bird dogging them directly. Um, or you're going to find that eventually that well goes dry. And if your success is reliant on that person to go out and find you new business and bring you into that account, at some point that person's going to see that it's just like a friendship, right? A friendship is supposed to be a two-way street. So if you're falling in that role where it's not a two-way street, eventually that role is going to that relationship is going to diminish just like anything else. It's the same thing as a personal relationship in your business relationship. It's the same concept. Once it becomes so one-sided that both parties are not getting a perceived value out of it, then one of them is going to stop doing it. And so there's step number one is, okay, don't become reliant on your I would call them your network partner, your referral partner. Don't become so reliant on them that you forget how to do the simple steps. Um, Another thing that tends to happen when you become super involved in the networking world is you become obsessive with it. So you start scheduling all these meetings. And when you're doing all these meetings, there's nothing wrong when you're doing these networking meetings as long as it's around like your lunch hour or before business hours start, after business hours are. those are the key times for networking, because you don't want to do anything that's taking time away from you um, cultivating your own business and dealing with your own business. The networking should be viewed as a sales call. And if you're not if seen it as a type of sales call or business development, then it should not be in your day. So if I'm doing, everyone, we like to call them virtual coffees. So if I'm doing a virtual coffee and I'm not going into that with the mindset of how can I help this person or them help me before I get there, then it's not a true business development activity. So you need to have that game plan going into it and how you're going to do it. So step number one, don't become so reliant uh, on your referral partner. Second thing is your networking time. Make sure it's being done as business development and productive for both sides of it. Okay, they're the two big keys that I wanted to definitely bring up. The third one is networking pitfall would be make sure you're in the right group for you. And I'm very big on this. I know no qualms about it. I'm in Success Champion Networking, and I'm also in a BNI group. Um, that are official groups, and of course I have natural referral partners that I work with. But I personally, there's nothing wrong with any of these. Everyone has different needs. I happen to prefer my Success Champion Networking group because as a whole, it's nationwide. We can interact with each other. Two, it's all virtual, so I'm not losing windshield time. Three, there's training sessions. There's a podcast, but we're not graded on, hey, you need to go to these podcasts. Hey, you need to go to these things. They're not, these are tools for you to use or not use. BNI is very structured. And they say, oh, we're the number one in the world. Okay, you're the largest in the world. But your networking doesn't always work the best for everybody. So in the group that I'm in right now for BNI locally is a very business to consumer heavy networking realm. I don't work in that world. I work in B2B. So I'm business to business. That is not as productive for me as my other one that I'm in, the SEM, because that's predominantly, and this is, by the way, we designed our chapter, by the way. Our chapter decided to get more of a focus on B2B. So other than two professions in there, we are strictly B2B. And these two, they do focus on business to business, but that's not their only goal. They can do business to consumer as well. So they're the kind of exception here. The other difference in the networking groups is we don't allow multi-level marketing in there. So things you're never going to see are your Mary Kays, your Ambits, your Living Young. We don't, in the Success Champion Network, we don't have those in there. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. I'm just saying that those become more of a sales pitch. So when we go to the BNI meetings, they allow that. And I understand why. So in the BNI meeting, when you stand up and you do you're doing a 60-second commercial. This is who I am. This is what I do, and this is why you should do business with me. And Success Champion Network, we do who we are, why we're there, and who do we need to get in front of, and who can I help you with. And they're different philosophies. The philosophy is, one is giver's gain, which is I give so I gain, which is I wash your hand, you wash mine. The other one is we give because it's the right thing to do. You don't expect anything in exchange. We focus on, hey, if you do right by others, karma is going to work itself out. People will want to do business with you and refer you business. So little different philosophies there. And what's right for you is right for you. There's all sorts of different other ones. There's a 5 o'clock one, but there's a ton of different ones. So again, now we're on three things, right? So number 3 is your networking group. Make sure you're in the right networking group, something that's focused on what's going to help you grow and scale your business. Excuse me. Number 2, again, it goes back to making sure that you're doing the right thing, and you're not just doing all networking. You're focused on your business development as well. So your business development and networking, if it isn't coinciding, it's got to be separate. And number one, of course, goes back to make sure that you, I would say, are a referral partner to your referral partner, and it's not on one side of the street. Because again, once again, you're going to get to a point where the business owner, manager, whatever, may look at you and say, do I really need this person, or should I just hire that person or bird dog them, work out a separate deal? Okay? So they're the top three for me on these topics. It's networking pitfalls. There's not, the biggest thing is you want to make sure is that you find the right place for you. You're not wasting a ton of time on your traveling to and from places. And the other thing for number four, I would say for pitfalls is if it becomes where you don't want to go to these meetings and you're dreading going to them, then that's not a good place for you. You got to make sure it fits you. So I recently one of the networking meetings I was at. One of the guys sat there and said, one of the problems with our group right now, he feels, is that people come in, they have a sense of entitlement, that they should just be entitled to business because they came into the group. And I listened to him for a while, totally disagree with him because I'm a newer member and I don't feel entitled to shit. I've reached out to everybody in that group and not even half of them respond. It's a click. Clicks happen. Any group, it's going to happen. After the meeting, we were leaving, and it must be whatever I said, and I'd gone off on it. Honestly, I lost my shit and really aired some people's dirty laundry that I had no idea that I knew that they were basically going around me because I was still doing their quotes regardless. But we're walking out, and he decides, he wants to talk to me because obviously he feels, he's concerned by what I said, and it struck a note with him, which is a positive, right? So we continue to talk for an hour. With an hour into that, he realized that I've been in the group for over 2 years, and he's never once done a one-on-one with me. He's never done a meeting with me at all. Doesn't know what I do. Doesn't have a clue. But when I called him for his services, dropped what he was doing, was right on top of sales, pitch me whole 9 yards, and he still didn't know what I did for a living. Doesn't know anything about me, my family, or me in general. And it turned on the light bulb to him. And my words to him was, back to your statement of people feeling entitled for their business, is that maybe the people that have been here as long as you guys have shouldn't feel entitled to my business. And you should give a shit about learning a little bit about me before you expect me to just hand over my book of business to you. It's a two-way street. So it does kind of go back to number one and number two a little bit about being a two-way street. The fourth one is making sure that, you're you found the right fit. And that you don't walk in there with the wrong conceptions or perceptions, I should say, of what you're going to get out of it. Ultimately, you're going to get out of whatever you put into things. It's whether you're working, like we always talk about CRMs, is the big one. Garbage in, garbage out. You put garbage in the CRM, you're going to get garbage back. Networking, you put garbage into this networking, you're going to get garbage back. So number four was actually make sure that you really want to be in the group you're in and don't fall into the negativity of, I don't want to be in this group. Because if I don't want to be in this group, you're not going to help them and they're not going to help you. There's no reason for them to help you because, everyone's always heard, hey, so-and-so's a cancer, so-and-so's toxic. Try not to be that person. Even though your intent may not be there, it may still come off that way. It's life. Not in, and I guess, and I'll kind of number four here, or five. I've lost track of what number I was on. But don't be toxic, and don't assume that everyone is going to be a good fit for you as a referral partner or a business partner. Plain and simple, we're all human beings. We all have personalities, and not everyone's personality jives with each other. One of my things I tell people is I'm an acquired taste. I'm not for everybody. And people will always laugh and they think it's funny and they think I'm being funny. And then as they get to know me, they realize that I'm not fucking around. I really mean it. Salespeople make the mistake of thinking they can sell everybody. And it's a huge mistake because you can't. Not everybody likes everybody. Not everybody connects with everybody. And some people just don't get along. It's just all there is to it. And it's a hard thing to swallow when you're in new business development type of sales. But reality is, everyone always they call me the machine. They used to call me the machine. And if you read my emails and you read my sales pitches or whatever you want to call them, I'm very robotic. I'm very cold. And we joke around and we say, you got to be you, right? Um, how many people here, they get started out with a conversation and starts out with, hey, how are you today? Hope everything's great. Are you having a good day? It, Fact of the matter is, no one gives a shit. I really don't care how your day is going, and you don't care how my day is going. So why? So I go directly. I'm direct to the point. You know, and actually, what's funny is we joke around about this one. So I did a cold calling exercise. I should say exercise. I needed help. Something was failing. So I reached out to Donnie Bovine, and him and I jumped on. It was at least a 30-minute call, might have been whatever. And literally, all he did was sit here on, listen to me, dial the phone out, and critique me. And I needed it, and I wanted it. But I'm also a person who's brutally honest with myself at all times, and I realize that I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, and I want to be the best. I want to beat you, and I want to be the best at everything I do. And I don't mean to the point where I want you to do less. I want you at the top of your game when I beat you. I want you being you bring me your strongest everything when I beat you. That's what I want. So Donnie and I are on the phone. We always joke. One of the jokes in our SEN group is we do this where when we call someone, we literally tell them, "Hey, look, this is a straight up cold call, and I really don't like doing these, and but I have to do these as part of what I job. Do you have a couple minutes to talk right now?" And so I mean, it was so funny. So I stumble on my call previous one, and I mean, like totally just like my mind was someplace else. I totally forgot what I was doing. So I hang up and all this. Our time, we both had to get going. So I went and did a Zoom call that I had to do with a customer, and I always go right back onto my cold call, right? I go right back onto my cold call, and I know this has nothing to do with the networking, but anyhow, just tangent here. And I literally I did the call, and I called the guy. I hear a laugh, and then I hang up. And I just started laughing, but it took that pressure off. I mean, it took it just took it away, so I didn't have to worry about the next one. So, being me, which is, I guess, one of the other pitfalls that you may run into when you're out there doing network. Don't try to be a walking billboard or commercial. Be you. Understand that when you're in a networking group or in a referral group, tip club, whatever the hell you want to call it. Okay. One, if you're meeting for lunch and that's the only thing you're meeting for, and you're not getting anything out, not worth it. Breakfast, same thing. You know what I mean? If you're just meeting for meal, that doesn't mean anything. If the premises of you doing these to set up one-to-one meetings to go to lunch and breakfast or whatever with each other, okay, and no business is really getting done, you shouldn't be doing those. Pitfalls of networking is people tend to forget what it's really for. You need to have an agenda for your meeting, your network meetings, just like you would if you were working with a regular client. There needs to be an agenda. I'm not saying don't go to lunch. I'm not saying don't go to dinner. What I'm saying is that should not be the premise of your meeting. Hey, we haven't grabbed lunch in a long time. Let's go for lunch today. Okay, that's not networking. That is two people hanging out. And hopefully you're not wasting company time and resources when you do that. When you go, you should have an agenda. This is what we're here for. This is what we're here to discuss and get it done. Have an agenda. If there's no agenda, walk away. It's not time. It's waste of time. Windshield time kills you. Bullshitting time like that kills you. There's just certain things that just are going to kill you. But with all that said, the whole point of this, and please share what you get out of this if you get anything out of it. The big point about all this is don't fall in these pitfalls. Understand that where networking is going to be vital to you, it can also be detrimental unless you continue to grow your own book of business. You still need to do the thing. If you're not doing call logs or CRM, keeping track of your day-to-day activities. I mean, seriously, these things are key to what is going to help you grow and become a great referral partner too. And the and if you can't do that, or you're not willing to do that, then you're not a salesperson and you're not willing to be in that role. We get punched in the face every day. That's what we do. And we get up and we keep coming back. Referral partners and networking takes a lot of that blow off, but you still need to remember the sting and how it feels when that stuff happens so that you don't become complacent. So I know I've rambled on a couple of different topics. Hopefully, I've given you guys some stuff to think about when it comes to networking and some of the pitfalls of it. And coming soon, I want to do a podcast where I'm bringing on a friend of mine to talk about how to build a team, a sales team, and work from. Another friend of mine who is she just has a ton of marketing background, ton of knowledge. It'll probably be a series that we wind up doing if I don't have her come on full time. Topics will be we have women-owned business, what it takes to be a women's owned business, and how to keep it going, and my favorite part. So for any of you who don't know, I work for a woman's owned business, and the owner of it she's my mentor. And what I love about her is she doesn't give a crap who she does business with. She is a straight up business person. She's straight up, and she's all about how to service you, take care of you, and do the right thing. And I love that. And in her pitch, when she's talking to somebody, this is what I love. She does not point out that she's a woman's own business unless it's something to do with a governmental contract or some type of contract. It'll be in our literature, but she doesn't lead with it. She doesn't bring it up. Just like when I go in, I do not lead with, hey, I'm a veteran, and talk about my veteran. Because at the end of the day, nobody gives a shit. That's not, they really don't. We're humans, the human business, and that's what we're looking to do. So special thanks to Insulation Man, the guys over at Insulation Man. They're booked all the way through February, so if you do want to get some insulation done, give them a call. Get on the list to get an audit done. Curcio Printing, Avi Inc., SASA Consultant for all your IT needs, Robinson Design, doing all the lettering and signing work that you need. There's so many people out there. I should be thanking. Thank you to AJ, my webman. Without you, nothing happens. My boy S.A. Grant. Without you, none of this happens. Lori Seitz. If you have not checked out Fine is a 4-letter word, you need to check it out without a doubt. And there's so many other. Sean Murphy. Actually, he's at Albany Comic Con right now doing live. So definitely check out Sean Murphy and his podcast. There's so many people to thank, but definitely I'm very thankful for everything I have, and I really appreciate everybody tuning in. Please share the link, like it, subscribe, and let me know what your thoughts are. Eventually, we'll start doing some lives and stuff. But everyone have a great day, and again, we'll be looking forward to hearing and talking to everybody soon. Have a good one.